All right, we're going to do a quick little video, everybody, on function inputs and outputs of equation for your Khan Academy. All you have to do right now is write this down. We're going to write down g of x equals 8x plus 2. Now, what you're searching for, all right, you're actually not searching for the output. They've actually given us the output. You guys know what the output is? Negative 62. We're actually searching for the input for the equation. So we're going to search for the number that you would plug in to get the output of a negative 62. So on these problems, you're not looking for the output. What are we looking for? You're looking for the input because they've given us the output. All right, so here we go. What are we going to set g of x equal to? They're saying it's equal to negative 62. So right over here, just put this is going to equal negative 62. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply solve for x. So we're going to use this little box here, all right? And we're just going to solve for x, solve for a variable. Quick little review of solving for a variable. Step number 1. We need to isolate the variable. So I'm going to put isolate the variable. We need to isolate the variable. Now, how do we isolate something? We've got to get it by itself. So right now, you have a positive 2 right next to an 8x. So how in the world do I get rid of this positive 2? What do you guys think? You can say something. It's okay. Oh, yeah, I hear you over there. Subtract 2. Good. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. She whispered way over there. You're like, who's whispering? Oh, it's just my class. They're being very respectful and quiet so that you don't, aren't too distracted. But, somebody might yell out something at some point, but not yet. So this will add to 0. Does anybody know what negative 62 minus 2 more? All right, she's saying negative 64. One of my students, negative 64. Excellent. So here's what we have left. 8x equals negative 64. I wonder what x is equal to. What do we have to do? What's our next step? Oh yeah, you're right. Divide. Okay, hold on. So what did I do first? I forgot to write it down. I need to put step number 2. I subtracted 2 from both sides. I better write that down for those of you who are taking notes and trying to become better mathematicians. Subtract 2 from both sides. Subtract 2 from both sides. Now, some people might say, well, I didn't subtract. I added a negative 2 to both sides. So, okay, additive inverses, you're right. You can say that and sound all smart and fancy. That's fine. But I'm just going to say subtract 2 from both sides. All right. Now, and then I heard one of my students whisper, divide both sides by 8. So that's correct. Oh, that was you? Okay. Divide both sides by 8. That's right. So we're going to divide this side, and we're going to divide this side by an 8. And we get negative 64 divided by 8. And that yields us an answer of negative 8. And that is what I'm going to put in right there. Now, what does that mean? That means when I plug in a negative 8 into this equation, I should get a negative 62. So I'm going to test that theory. If I have 8 and I plug in right here for the value of x a negative 8 right there, and then I add 2, it works because that's negative 64, and that's plus 2, and that gives us negative 62. So it works. Woohoo! We got it right. So now all I'm going to do, knowing that I got it right, is now I feel very confident. Oh, let me clear this out. Wrong place. All right. Now I feel very confident right here to type in a negative 8, and I don't have any worries whatsoever. And voila, we got it right. All right, so here's our next question. All right, here's our next question. Let's go ahead and write this one down. Write this one down right here. And I will set it up. We'll do it the exact same method. So once again, we are going to be looking for the input even though they've given us the output. So right here, we are looking for the input, but they've given us the output. So I'm going to write 8x minus 10 equals, what is it equal to? It's going to be equal to a 62, because that's the output that they've given us. And then once again, we are going to simply solve for x. All right, anybody want to I'm not going to write all the words now, but anyone want to volunteer how I get rid of a negative 10? Anybody? Go ahead, go ahead. I can hear you. You're right, add 10 to both sides. Excellent. Add 10 to this side. Add 10 to this side. All right, ooh, what do I have left now on the left-hand side? What do I have left? Yeah, 8x, you're right. 8x equals, and then here we have 62 plus 10. That gives us, you're right, that gives us 72. And then, once again, what are we allowed to do? We're allowed to do one last thing. We get to divide both sides by 8. And we get x equals 9. And we found our input. That means the value right here, when I plug in a 9, I get a 62. And that works, because when I plug in a 9 right there, 8 times 9 is 72. 72 minus 10 is 62. So I feel very, very confident that I got my answer right. So basically, before you type in the number, what would I like you to do? I'd like you to plug it in to see if it actually gets the output that you solve for. Okay? And that's as easy as it gets. All right? So I know it kind of looks kind of looks kind of funky. Like, what am I doing? You're basically looking for the input that creates that output. That's it. All right? All right. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. So this was called function inputs and outputs of graphs, and I realize that you can't really draw this. Okay? You can't really draw this. But what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So if you want to, pause the video and draw it, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to necessarily draw it. All right, so I'm going to take a picture of this real quick, and I'm going to draw a line going across right here. All right? I'm going to kind of use this as an example. Now, if I said that this line is, let's say, g of x, all right? Technically, what is the y value that it's always equal to right here that I drew? It's always equal to what number? -2. It's always equal to -2. Now, if it asks you for this, if it says, what inputs basically what inputs have a value at -2, it actually has an input right here, and right here. So technically, how many answers could you have if I said g of x equals -2? We could say g of what? G of -9 equals -2. That's for sure. This one's kind of tricky. What do you guys think on this one? G of what? 3. I'm going to put 3.7. Looks like it's about equal to -2. And then maybe g of 4.2. So technically, all these answers are at where y is equal to -2. All right? So that's what it's kind of looking for. So on this one, let's see what they ask. It says, select all input values for which g of x is equal to 4. So here's what I need you guys to understand. When it says g of x equals 4, it's literally asking you where the y value is equal to 4. So there's my line. This is where the y value is equal to a 4. Or they said this is where g of x equals 4. Right there. What is the only input? Yeah, I hear you over there. 9. 9 is the only value where it's equal to a 4. So I know my answer is going to be 9. And that's going to be my only answer. Okay, let's do another one. what is the input value for where f of x equals 3? So what's the input value? So what do I have to do? I need to draw a line going all the way across at 3. How many places does it touch? Just once. So what's the input value? You're right, -3. So I'm going to put -3. It's right here. I'll type it in. This is another tricky one. It says choose what? Choose all the answers that apply. So what do we have to do? F of x equals 6. So I will draw a line at f of x equals 6. I had a student that got really frustrated because they were like, I don't know the answer, but the answer is never none of the above. But does this touch anything? No, it doesn't. So sometimes, just so you guys know, sometimes the answer is none of the above. All right? But what am I proving to you that it's not? Yeah, I'm proving to you. Now, what if it said right here? What if I said g of 2? What would my answers be? Not g of 2. Sorry, my bad. If I said g of x equals 2, my apologies, what would be my two answers? 2 and 6. So I could say g of 2 equals 2 and g of 6 equals 2. So here I'd have multiple answers, but here I have none because it said, oh sorry, I said f of x equals 6. All right, so I'm hitting none of the above. All right, let's see here. What is the input value other than -7 for where h of x equals 3? So we can't choose -7. Can you guys see that it does hit at -7 right here? It hits right here. What'd you say? Yeah, 5. So I'm going to put a 5. And that's all it's asking you to do. Hopefully that's enough information to help you guys get 100 on this guy. All right, that's functions of inputs and outputs of graphs. Good luck, and have a great day.